Thank you, viewers, and welcome back. Sitting with me this morning in studio, two gentlemen, Mr. Orwin Dillon and Mr. Ricardo Alfred, both from the Tobago Agribusiness Development Company that we know as TADCO, and Mr. Ricardo Alfred is the board chairman, and Mr. Orwin Dillon is the director of crop production. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning.
These two gentlemen are here to enlighten us about a program that was launched yesterday, Community Care Program. So we'll hear what this entails, how we can be a part of it, the genesis of it. All right, so let's get right into our conversation this morning. Community Care Program, what does that entail?
Right, so good morning to Tobago, right? The intention behind the community care program is to identify various persons in the community who are at risk as relates to health and also their social well-being. These persons will be identified by the various assemblymen for the different areas. The aim of this really is to provide a nutritious and healthy option as relates to meals and preparation of that. Farmers and the agro-processors were engaged. We are definitely going to be getting a lot of these healthy products directly from Tobago, from the Tobago farmers. The program will run for about 6 months, after which there will be an evaluation. And then we would then have that data that will go towards the various divisions for further interaction. But the impact from this really is to gather the data as to what Tobago is actually producing. This data would be used to go afterwards to the hotels and to the restaurants and these type of industries, so that we can therefore possibly act as a medium between the hotel and the farmer. There's a difference between the marketing and the planting and harvesting of these products. So it's just to take some of the burden off the farmers and the processors.
Right. So I think I missed some information in between there, Mr. Alfred. You mentioned a graduation. So persons are going to be identified by the various assemblymen, right? Those who are at risk for...
As relates to their social well-being, as relates to their...
Nutrition, you mentioned. Yes. Good. And when these persons are selected, they are going to go through training.
Right. What is going to happen? The identified persons will therefore receive these packages. So it's a collaboration with health as well. Okay. Whereas health will provide we are liaising with their nutritional unit in terms of providing a nutritious products to these persons actually. Okay.
And where does the graduation in terms of, because I want our viewers to be clear, when people hear graduation, they think of a ceremony and all of that, right? And so explain it so that they will get it, because sometimes people listen to information and run with something totally different.
It wasn't graduation. The persons will be identified by the assemblymen, various assemblymen.
Okay, and they go through that training, they would learn. It is talking about taking care of our community. Mr. Little, where do you come in? Because I know you as a farmer as well. Where do you come into all of this? Taking care of maybe, those who may need to get more information, be educated, so that they can better provide for their families in different ways. We're looking at nutrition, etc. So tell us where you come in.
Okay. As the director of farming production crops, my responsibility is to make sure after the farmers are selected that we visit the farmers and make sure the farmers are practicing what they call good agricultural practices.
Right.
The idea is to provide safe and healthy food. We don't want to go there and select a product that is not healthy for the farmers.
Right.
So there must be a certain quality, there must have a certain standard, and I'm responsibility for that team to go to actually visit the farmers once they have registered the program, so we know exactly what we are getting for the clients.
Right.
And also to avoid what they call pre-deal lasting. We don't want somebody to register and tell us, listen, I have mangoes, and when you go by your farm, you have no mangoes.
You pick my mangoes
and pick some of these mangoes. Trying to avoid that and make sure you have quality assurance where we bring the products.
Right. So these selected farmers will be part of this program, and I like how it's various groups being involved, and everybody can benefit in some way or the other from different ends of this kind of program. And I like the idea where it's not just one division, but you're talking about also collaborating with health and benefiting from their expertise. So we're talking about the farmers who would be selected to provide the food, right, that will be then given to these families, these clients identified. Is there an end date for this program? How is it really going to be worked? What's the end of it? When you select these families, yes, they are provided for. Is it something that's going to go on indefinitely? What's the hope at the end of a certain timeline?
The first phase of it probably will be for 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, there will be an evaluation. This is actually where we are.
Right.
What were the benefits derived from the program? Health department are going to do, have people on the ground, because some of the individuals come from the health, directly from health, who are in their database, and they are going to continue to follow up with the individual, be it exercise, be it their diet, to see exactly if there's an improvement. At the end of the day, we want to see people live healthy, long life.
Right.
Once we are successful in this, it means that have an impact on the health department, whereby the bill at the end of the month for the health department can be reduced.
Right, and that's important.
Yeah.
And you know, when we have community projects like this, or even programs, some of us get it, but some of us, you know, we still don't grasp the whole concept of it. And Mr. Alfred, just for the benefit of our viewers, when we look at programs like this, and Mr. Dillon would have mentioned, you know, 2-3 of the benefits, what's the ultimate goal really of setting up programs like this?
Right, so, you know, Tobago, as relates to the agricultural produce, lacks a lot of data. So from this data, we would therefore know exactly who is planting what and the quantity and the consistency in which they can produce it. You know, this is what I believe that the grocery owner, the restaurant owner, the supermarket persons would definitely want to know, you know, and this data will be provided to them so that they will have a cadre of persons that they could choose from as relates to supplying their goods directly here from Tobago, bringing a more fresher, a more, I don't want to use the word a more healthier option, but a more consistent option as relates to supplying their shelves and stuff like that. So that's a major impact. And another impact as well is that you are providing the nutritional and a healthy option to the persons who are at risk right now in our healthcare sector, therefore reducing the amount of visits among persons with different lifestyle diseases to the healthcare.
And that is so important. And again, you know, I have to stress viewers that I'm hearing of this project and learning of it just like many of you are today. And I think it's so important when we have projects like this where we can all benefit. You're talking about, we know a lot of people, the NCDs, the diabetes, and these kind of lifestyle diseases. And if there is some program that can help reduce the figures, help reduce those who are impacted by these things for a healthier option, of course, kudos to that. Now, again, I always say I like to make the connection for the viewers. So we know this is under the Division of Agriculture, Food Security, and TADCO seems to be taking the lead on it. Tell us why TADCO.
Well, TADCO is a Tobago Agribusiness Development Company. We are the executing agency, and we are best poised at this point in time to actually receive the goods from the farmer, do the package, and do the distribution. Hence the reason we are given the responsibility, and because of our commitment over the years, we would have been chosen to do the rollout of this program.
Right. And for viewers who are listening and you think you may fall into that group that can become, a client or be a part of the process, whether it's a farmer, and I know you mentioned the assemblymen will look at their communities, their districts, but how will the farmers be engaged? Okay.
In Tobago, we have 8 agricultural districts, and each district has agricultural officers. The officer's responsibility is to intervene. It should be the connectivity between the division and the farmer.
Right.
The information about the farmers being registered would have been out in the public domain.
Right.
The responsibility of the extension officers to also engage the farmers to register in the program. Once the farmers are registered, then we take it from there and we visit the farmers, have a conversation with the farmers, and then they become part of the program. Even before they supply, the first set of farmers would have been engaged in a training program. With post-harvest, and so know exactly how to harvest the produce in order to extend the shelf life of the product, or to transport the product from their farms to TADCO compound. All those things are very important because we want to deliver a healthy product. We want to harvest the factory at 10 o'clock in the morning, hot sun. When it comes to shop back, it crinkles. We don't want that, so we give it the training before.
Right.
Going forward, we want to make sure that as a farmer, you do this as a business. At the end of the day, you must be a businessman. So even as we go forward, we are planning to do things like more training for the farmers, like production planning, so you can know exactly how to plan your production so you can get your things on time to come into the program. All those things we are putting in place for the farmers.
A question just popped into my head. Do you have an age limit? Because I have one of my sons. He's just 10 years old, but he's always planting something. But he is quite an entrepreneur because he's not just planting for mommy to cook. He's planting so that he can sell. Can he be registered as a farmer, or you have to be an adult to be registered?
In order to actually sell, you don't have to be an adult to be a farmer. But in order to actually go through the program, adult will be involved.
Right.
Because it means we have to be paid, procurement have to engage
Right.
you.
No, but even outside, not this part of the program, but just in general. Like, you have teenagers, you have some of them quite entrepreneurial, and they take the agriculture business seriously. And just to be a registered farmer in Tobago.
No, the registration there is a process. It's a different process. You must be of a certain age.
Right.
But in order to participate in this program, you have to be an adult.
Right, of course. I was just curious about, being registered as a farmer in general on the island, because I'm quite aware you have some young people who are not adults as yet, but they take the agricultural business quite seriously, So I guess you have to wait until you get to that age to be registered, and then you can be part of other projects. It was just, because he's always trying to plan something. He loves it, right? He probably got that from his dad, definitely not from me. So, let's listen out for more initiatives like this, the community care program. Those of you who are hearing and you think, again, you can fall into the group of being a client, you can reach out to your assemblyman, your area representative, and find out more about it. Of course, I'm sure you will be hearing from them as well as they go through the paces to select, those who are deserving of being at the receiving end of this community care program. So thank you so much for stopping by to share with us. Good luck on the project. And of course, we are waiting to hear, because I know Mr. Alfred said it's also for data collection, and how important that is as we continue to plan for our island. So we too will wait to hear, what you all found out, and how you can continue to chart the success of Tobago's agricultural sector. So viewers, this is it for this morning. It is Friday, the start of our weekend. I always remind us to be safe, and I always encourage us, yes, you are your brother's keeper. Let's continue to look out for each other as we share this beautiful place called Tobago. So have a fabulous weekend, and you'll see us right here again next week on The Morning Show and GMT. So continue to be safe.